I said, what kind of commercial do you want? He says, hit me. Throw something out there. So we got together and kind of put together a quick little script and had some fun with it, but informative. And I know that he liked it. He approved it. So again, welcome Stumbling Jay to Northwest Dirt News. Warren's late, back from break. He's just now getting back in the studio. Back out to the truck to grab some tools to work on these carts, and he's all over the place. So we left off. We were talking about Jeremy Means and the big hit he took into the wall. We're trying to contact him, and I know Jeremy was talking about calling in, so hopefully we can get him live on the air with Northwest Dirt News and talk about his little accident. And not little, not making fun of it. I mean, that was bad news.
Jeremy, you there, buddy?
I'm here.
Awesome. You're on the air with Northwest Dirt News. How you feeling today, man?
I'm feeling better each day. I'll just leave it at that.
So, Jeremy, let me ask you, because I wasn't there, I didn't see it. How did this happen?
All right, so I'm going out there. I've been going out there for most of the night and having no problems. I think my fourth or fifth time on the track. And we're out there with a group of about 7 or 8 of us. And anybody that's never drove a smart cart, they're interesting things. They go a lot faster than you think they do. If you don't lift. So I'm going through the corner. I get passed by a car on the inside, and the cart stumbles in front of me as it bogs in the middle of the corner. I got to run. So instead of just trying to jump the back of the cart, I got off the gas and braked and kind of swerved away from the bumper of the cart in front of me. Next thing you know, I'm in the marbles, and if you're in the marbles on the exit of turn 2 at Salem, you're in no man's land.
Oh, you were on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah.
That's kind of a dangerous place to wreck a cart.
Yeah.
I mean, that's...
Exit turn 2, I hit the marbles, it spun backwards, I went to the wall back first, it hit the wall, did about a 360, caught the front end on the wall, and then flipped. And I'm trapped underneath the cart when it flips. And I look down, I'm thinking, I'm just going to take my time. I feel okay, I'm all right. And I look down, I see a spark, and next thing I know, I see flames rushing up my leg.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Whoa, dude.
Well, first and foremost, bud, we're glad you're okay. I mean, go-karts and race cars are replaceable. Our friends and family aren't, and that's the most important thing. I don't know whose cart you were in, but I hope that they weren't too upset and they understand that, life is more important than metal.
No, yeah, I showed my apologies for the cart multiple times to the family. It was the Clark family, great people. And I showed my apologies for the cart. I've offered numerous times of what do I need to do to help, if it involves just going to the shop and helping work on it. They pretty much told me that if I mention the cart one more time, that I'll never drive one of theirs again. They said they want me to drive their carts again, but I need to stop bringing up the cart. What's wrong with it?
So the wrist, he said it's broke, and am I right when I heard that you're requiring surgery to get this thing fixed?
Yeah, they're requiring surgery now.
So what happened to the wrist? Where is it broke at?
It's broke on the radius bone. It is what they call a Smith's fracture. So the way it is broke, that if I don't have surgery, it won't ever heal straight. It won't ever heal normal, because the way that it's broke, my hand will actually want to slide away from the forearm bone.
Wow.
It wants to slide down.
So when it broke, did you know it was broke right away, or was it just kind of felt like a sprain? Or, I mean, did you know right away?
You know what? It felt like a sprain. I got up, I walked around. People around me all the time kept asking if I'm okay, and I'm like, yeah, I feel fine. I was more worried about the car. I'm over there, leaned over, looking at the car, helping them get stuff falling apart, and I'm starting to really start hurting as my adrenaline calms down.
Yeah, I've been there.
Yep.
I think we've all been there.
A little worse.
The adrenaline wears off.
And as it wears off, they keep saying, you don't look all right. You don't look okay. And I'm like, I feel okay. And they sent someone else back over there. They said, you need to sit down. They get me to sit down, and they said, and the medic comes back over and he says, you're starting to look pale. And he feels my wrist. He says, the wrist doesn't feel like it's getting anywhere, but I could see that full, and I could see that it's kind of crooked. He's like, you should go take a look at it. You should go to the ER. So I go to the ER, and then after being at the ER for 7 hours that night, I show that it's broken.
You were there for 7 hours.
I was there for 7 hours because they actually had to set my wrist
That's
wide.
actually worse than a broken wrist. That's terrible.
Yeah.
So, I know your pain. I know what you're feeling as far as hitting those walls at Salem Speedway. I think you were there when I had my wreck, weren't you?
Oh, yeah, and I thought at the time that your wreck was one of the worst I'd seen in a Speedway cart.
It was not good, but I look at the damage to the cart that you were in, and, man, I'm just glad you were all right because, it doesn't take a genius to look at that and know that was a violent wreck. I hit actually on the entry, right almost at the apex of turns 1 and 2 with a stuck throttle, and, man, those walls don't move when you hit them, do they?
Oh, they don't move at all. Your body sure does, but they don't move.
Yeah, absolutely.
They actually told me the Clark family did right after that happened. So we're going to get this micron off the steering wheel. We're framing it. You're keeping the steering wheel.
Oh, well, that's a nice little trophy to have. I mean, So let me ask you: this isn't going to discourage you from further racing, is it?
It's not.
I hope not.
I enjoy them. I enjoyed that was my first one in a park cart that night, and I enjoyed that. I've driven a KT before, and I enjoyed that. It's nothing against. I know stuff can happen. We all do, and I never thought I'm that typical person. Your second time in a Speedway car, and you think that's not going to happen to me. Well, it happened in a hurry.
Yeah, and that's the thing is when something like that happens in these carts. I mean, it's happened and done with before your mind actually catches up and understands what's going on.
Yeah.
It's just the short wheelbase when it gets away from you. It's hard to save these things sometimes, but. Man, dude, I am so glad that you're all right, and that could have been a real serious accident. I'm glad that the fire was wasn't a big part of this, and you got burned because that's the one thing I know as a driver in these carts that I've ever really been afraid of is fire.
Yeah, people have joked around me a little bit outdoors, and I don't mind joking about it now. I know I'm okay. I know I'm going to be okay, so I don't mind joking about it. And they said, you know what, you got all your fears out. You got most racer fears out in one time. You flipped and caught on fire. I'm like, yeah, I sure did. That was your situation. Thankfully, there was people there. It was not an empty practice night. Once I got out of the cart and started rolling around myself, I had 7 people jump on me and suffocate the fire out as well as spraying myself with the fire extinguisher to get it out as well.
Wow. Well, and that's the thing. I'm glad to see that they were quick to the response and to help you out. I know that when I had my accident, Shane Smith was actually the first person to me, and he was on the track with me, and he was freaking out more than I was, saying that's the most violent wreck I've ever seen. I can't believe that you're all right. And then like you said, the adrenaline's going through you, and you're not hurt, and you feel fine and dandy. And then as you get back to the pit area and you start pulling the cart apart, and you start wearing that that adrenaline starts going away, you start realizing, hey, wait a second here. It's not good. I ended up actually with damage to my left foot for a while. I bruised every bone in my left foot and ankle when I hit the wall because I was trying to stop the car, so I had the brake pedal down and slammed that wall wide open, and it was not fun. So
yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy the bruises are starting to go down finally because I think the bruises were more painful than the bruises were the last couple of nights.
Now, was Carrie there to watch this?
Carrie was not. We've been house sitting for a couple for the last month, and she had to go pick them up from the airport that day. And you know what? And it was one of those things where I'm like, I'll try my best to be careful, whatever. And when she got the text message, I wasn't the first person to tell her. She got a text message that said I was in a wreck. She didn't quite believe it. And then she saw a picture of the cart. She still didn't believe it. I called her that night, and she was still on the way to the airport. She's like, "You aren't kidding, are you?" I'm like,
yeah.
no.
When I know when I had my wreck, Sandy wasn't there either, and I was glad she wasn't. It was the one time that season she hadn't gone to the track with me, and I'm glad she chose that night to stay home.
Now does she show up to the track with you every time you race now?
Yeah.
That's probably a good idea.
Yeah, no kidding. But yeah, again, man, glad you're all right. So what's the future? You're done flagging for the year, am I right when I say that?
Yeah, I'm done for this. I'm done for the winter. I'll be back to flag this summer, of course, but I'm done for the winter.
Okay. So did you break the right or left wrist?
Broke my left, thank goodness.
Okay. Yeah, man. Well, I'm just glad it's a wrist and nothing, too major, and we're looking forward to seeing you at the track, and glad you're all right. And anybody want to say something to Jeremy?
Dude, you've got you got somebody looking out for you to be on fire and to flip a cart and to break your wrist. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. I'm just glad you're okay and that you're going to be back.
Now, Jeremy, I don't want you to take this the wrong way. When I read your post, okay, first of all, when you said, okay, I'm okay, it was the first thing I saw was I'm okay. Then I saw a picture of the cart, and I thought, well, how in the heck did that happen? And, there was just the snippets kept coming, the post kept coming on Facebook. When I actually read what had happened and you hit the wall and the car flipped and it was upside down and there was fire, I am not going to lie to you. I am not going to. I laughed in the sense like there is no way this happened with you just don't see that happen with go-karts. Fires like that, especially on these cars, was the one thing I thought, this is like the real deal. This is a big-time serious kart wreck that you don't normally see. So I kind of laughed to myself, like, not in a good way, a funny way, like, how the heck did that happen? I mean, just it's so unbelievable that you did this. And you're gonna have a ride with these guys later on in the season, or what?
Yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to go with them. They told me that I'm welcome to drive one of those carts anytime once I go up. I don't know. I'm still not sold on this smart cart stuff. Just there is safety stuff in the talks now after that wreck at Salem. I got lucky because of the style of cart I was racing, because it was a wedge cart. The wedge cart itself took a lot of the damage, but it still did crush the fuel tank on these motors that are sitting on top of the motor. It's the first thing that hit was the gas tank. Luckily, that didn't get worse than what it was.
I am so against that. That is one thing they need to change on those motors, is taking that fuel tank off the top of those things. That fuel tank should be away from the engine, down between your legs, under the steering wheel, like the KTs. I don't care what class of karts we're racing. That fuel tank should never sit on top of the engine for that exact reason right there.
Yeah, and I totally agree. After being in that situation and looking at it, they talked about the next day at the pit meeting for Salem about the possibility of moving or putting a fuel tank and putting fuel pumps on these carts. It's a 50-50 sway, but for the drivers, but the 50% that are in favor of making these safety changes were the ones that actually got to witness what happened the night before.
Right.
And like I said, it's less than $200, and it'll improve the safety dramatically.
Well, and you can't put a price on safety.
Absolutely not. Now let me tell you this. Had that been a 10-year-old kid that went through a wreck like you would, that rule it would be mandated already. Had that been a kid and not a man that in that cart, then that'd be, and I don't care if you're 10 years old or if you're 60 years old. Life is life and fire is fire. I mean, I've said it for years. I do not like fuel tanks on top of the engines, and that needs to be moved.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Jason and that crew will look at that, and I'm sure they'll make the right call, because you can never be too safe.
Oh, yeah. I agree with that.
So, again, man, glad you're all right. We want to say thanks for calling the show, and we're going to catch up with you at Salem Speedway in a couple weeks. We're going to bring a couple carts out and go run with Brown and Trickle and those guys and see what we got for those guys.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Jeremy, take care of yourself, bud. Glad you're all right.
Jeremy.
Thanks, buddy.
All right, thank you guys.
Bye.
Man, really, it's not funny. I mean, I say that I laughed. I just laughed because you don't hear about that very often with speedway carts, and it's like it was so unreal. But then you look back on it and think, God, I'm just glad he's all right. I mean, that could have really been had that tank spilled all over and he was laying in a puddle of fuel and that ignited, which, could have easily it could have happened.
Well, and I look at it too.
Methanol too.
With the fart carts, I don't know if they're running meth. I can't say.
Fart carts. I thought he said Star.
No, fart.
Oh,
no. Methanol is safer than gasoline.
Right.
Safer and
methanol stores less energy than gasoline does. That's why
it burns cooler, but
it burns cooler.
It's more combustive.
It stores less energy though. That's why when you're running a methanol car, you have to have 20 gallons. It's literally on a crate motor at Willamette. You're looking at.
Oh, you're going to burn twice as much fuel.
You're going to. No. That's an understatement.
Well, you know what I mean, though, yeah.
you're gonna get 3 laps out of a gallon of fuel.
And that's true, because that's what we were getting. We were 3 to 4 laps on a gallon with David Hawks on the late model. I was with him back in the 90s. We figured it was right around 3 to 3.5 laps a gallon.
Whereas guys that are running the same exact motor from GM, still sealed, are going through 4 gallons of